So we all come to the Dharma and perhaps to our monastic aspirations in various different ways. A while ago, Venerable Trini gave a BBC on her journey to monastic life, and she began it, I think, in my memory, talking about how from a young age there had been difficulties, and she was worked through various difficulties in her life. And it really struck me because that's not my story. I've had a very easy life from my early years. My parents aren't very wealthy, but I've always had enough, and they gave me a lot. And I kind of breezed through school with putting in a fair bit of effort, but nothing too dramatic, or it felt fairly easy. Kind of got some jobs easy, partners easy. It was all going along quite well. And then it changed. Then in my early 20s, I started to hit walls, and various things started to fall apart. And it was a huge shock to my system. There was this like, what? Like, this should be easy. What is happening? And I realized, not right away, but more as I came to the Abbey, that the easy flowingness of my first 20 years had bred a sense of entitlement and complacency. And that's an obstacle to practice. And I see that in terms of taking the Dharma for granted, because I just turn up and it's there, right? Because things should be easy. And Venerable Samten in the Bhikshuni panel really sparked this reflection in my mind by her encouragement to see the rarity of our situation here, and that we may come to the Abbey now, and there's Chenrezig Hall, and there's the Nanda Hall, and there's Prajna, and there's all these existing buildings and community and processes and container, and we're building a Buddha Hall, and we just get to come in and flow right in. But the effort that it has taken those who built this place in those early years is not visible for those who have come after the fact. But it's a matter of dependent arising that took a lot of courage and determination and generosity of time, care, and energy. And I think that's the message really, or the thing that I'm chewing on now, is to appreciate that dependent arising and the rarity of it. And then to see our position as those younger members of the community, or those, I think just Dharma practitioners in general. Venerable Samten was emphasizing the rarity of the situation specifically at Sravasti Abbey, but really the rarity of meeting the Dharma at all in this life is incredible. Do I really get that? Like here, viscerally? No. It was at a Dhamma center, I just turn up, it's there, right? There's teachers, there's retreats. I don't have a full, deep appreciation of what it has taken for the lineage going back 2,600 years of practitioners who have taken on the responsibilities themselves to embody the Dharma so that they can then transmit it to the next generation and ensure that it lives on. And Venerable Samten's encouragement to see this rarity sparked me to go back to my notes from Venerable Master Wuyan's talks that she gave in 2018 during Living Vinaya in the West. She was here for about 2.5, 3 weeks, and every other day she would give a keynote lecture. And there were a few messages that again and again she kept coming back to. And they were things that weren't in my framework. I met the Dharma at a Dharma center with not a large monastic community. It was individual monks or nuns, and it was a totally different world than what is here and what the training that she's had and what she's experienced in Taiwan. And she repeatedly talked about the relationship between the individual and society. And on one hand, to see that the individual in a way is insignificant or not important, that my practice, my ordination, my preferences, what I want, is not it. It's about serving the Sangha body to then be able to serve society and to provide a conscience to the world, and then to offer the Dharma to both lay people and those who wish to ordain, so that the tradition can continue. But then she would go right back to the individual and say that, but you are completely important, because the ability of the Dharma to last long in this world depends on your practice, and for you to take responsibility for it. So in that way, looking at my notes today, she's like, you will be the ones eventually giving the ordination. You will be the future abbesses or abbots. You need to take responsibility to practice well and to learn what it means to transmit the Dharma, because you'll be the ones continuing it. So keeping those two perspectives in mind, again and again, as you repeated the points from different angles, was so impactful. And she used this analogy that if we just let the Dharma be, it will dissipate like clouds in the sky. And for me, that means, I'll turn up when I want. If the class is offered on the night that I want, if it's at the time that I want, I'll come. I'll listen, and I'll go home, and then I'll practice when it's comfortable. Or even here at the Abbey, we have a schedule, and I turn up to most things, but do I do it intentionally with a mind that is open to receiving the teachings and then walking away and practicing them and reflecting on them and trying to embody them? Or using my moments well, not just on automatic. Because if I just let it be, it will dissipate from my mind, and then it may well dissipate from this world. So, it's on my mind, this idea of taking responsibility for our practice. And this is independent of the decision of to ordain or not, that we've, as Venerable mentioned in the final go-around, that's not really the matter of do or don't. It's how are we engaging with our practice? And that's a matter for each of us here. And are we taking responsibility for it in a way that looks far beyond ourself, but to see that our individual practice is what will ensure the Dhamma to exist for a long time in the world. And in that way, then repaying the kindness of those who have given the Dhamma to us. And specifically the project that we're doing at the Abbey here, again, which I came here with no clue about in terms of being able to establish the fourfold Sangha in the West. And then to eventually someday be able to fully offer the opportunity for full ordination here for both men and women. And in that way, seek Dhamma very strongly in the West. And recently, after the third false start of thinking that I may be going to Taiwan for full ordination and filling out the third form, where again I am writing why full ordination matters to me and why I want to go. It's very clear. It's like, and then having the repeated instances of due to COVID and other things, it's like, I cannot go. And why does it matter to me if I do or I don't? And having to sit on that. And to keep coming back to this bigger idea that it matters so that the Dharma survives, so that people can meet the teachings that enable them to actualize their own peace and happiness and help others do the same. And ethical conduct is the foundation of that. Being able to be at peace with our own actions and how we move through the world, and then help others do the same. And yeah, so however we move forward from this Exploring Monastic Life course, no matter what decisions we make, there will be thousands of decisions we're making each day, regardless of, aside from ordination. May we make those decisions in a way that we're taking full responsibility for our practice within the framework of this will enable the Dharma to remain long in this world, so that all beings can meet the teachings that can ease their mind, free them from the afflictions, all limitations, and bring lasting happiness to all beings.